There's an island in the middle of a river in Liberia, deep in the jungle of West Africa, that's said to be home to over 60 chimpanzees, all infected with contagious diseases. They were released there years ago after being used for medical research, and now they roam wild. We've come to the Republic of Liberia to find out about the incredible story behind this place the locals call Monkey Island. Upon arriving in Liberia, one of the first things we noticed is that monkeys, apes, chimps are everywhere.
We just saw this guy randomly on the side of the street. It's a pet?
Yes, my pet.
And where did he come from?
Lufa.
And isn't that where they had the Ebola outbreak?
Yeah, that's where the rumors from.
Oh, okay. Oh, the rumor. I'm sorry. That's where the rumor's from.
To get to Monkey Island, we first had to drive 40 miles outside of Monrovia to a small village on the edge of the Farmington River. From there, we took a canoe to another village where a guide could take us the rest of the way.
We just got to this little village and we're trying to negotiate for a bigger boat. Which one's yours?
Yes.
This one right here?
Yeah.
It has an engine, right?
Yes.
And you can take us to Monkey Island?
I don't want to get it. I'll tell you.
$50?
No, $50.
No $50 US dollars?
50.
Okay, 80.
So
It's a
go
deal.
on outside.
Okay. So apparently right now we have to buy a bunch of fruit for the chimpanzees or else they get pissed off when you show up and you don't throw food at them. Thank you. Can I go on to Monkey Island? Can I walk onto the
No,
island?
you cannot.
What did you say? You said they'll eat me?
They'll eat you.
What?
And if we weren't already on edge about the apes, our guides themselves didn't instill much confidence as they forgot to untie the boat when we pushed off.
Oh my god. The rope is pulling us over. Oh shit. We're about to fucking sit. Oh no! Oh shit!
This man a brave man. Oh, you scary. All of you scary, but the man brave.
We broke half the boat. But onward to Monkey Island. Are the locals who live in this area, are they scared of the chimps?
Oh yeah, if you are Spanish person, okay, when you go there, they become aggressive. But the only thing the chimps, they are afraid of water. They don't swim across.
Okay.
They just walk at the water edge.
Right, okay. Alright, so we just pulled up to the island. We could hear the chimps making a lot of noise as we approached, and now there's two of them that have come out of the bush.
Yeah, afraid, yeah.
They're afraid? I'm afraid.
Right then, a huge male charged out of the forest towards the boat.
Back it up, back it
So the big alpha male just started charging us and we like bailed to the back of the boat. The Liberian guys told us, don't worry, they don't swim. But right now all I see is like 3 feet of shallow water between us and that angry chimp right there. They were super aggressive, burying their teeth when we first showed up. But now that we've got some food out, they've calmed down a lot. Jerry, who they know, is pretty comfortable, pretty fearless, actually. I wouldn't go near that. And they don't want me near them. This one's pissed at me. This one right here at the base of the tree limb is splashing us for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on.
The only way I could get these apes to come around was to bribe them with sugar.
They're really amped about the lollipop.
Even as I floated just a few feet from the apes, it was still hard to believe that this place actually existed. But as we were about to learn, what was even more astonishing is the story behind why and how they got here. It all began here, just a few miles away, at the Liberian Institute for Biomedical Research. A medical research program launched by the New York Blood Center, one of the largest medical blood suppliers in the U.S. The program was called VILAB. It started in 1974 during the heyday of animal testing.
This place is like the Disneyland of infectious disease.
Yes.
In the search for various treatments and vaccines, over 100 chimpanzees were infected with diseases such as hepatitis and river blindness. Nobody knows more about the lab and its history than Betsy Brotman, the former head of the project. When you first started the VILAB, what was the intent and the purpose?
Was looking for a place where they could have a supply of chimpanzees that were not infected with hepatitis and that could be used in hepatitis experiments and then released into the forest. We did a lot of safety and efficacy testing of hepatitis B vaccines. The hepatitis B vaccine was developed just shortly after we arrived there.
Well, why Liberia, first of all? It seems like a crazy, faraway place to do research.
They had a large population of chimpanzees. And there was this defunct scientific institute, and it was near the airport. And the government agreed to let us work there. A lot of people had pet chimpanzees. And when they get past a certain age of around 5, they're not really very good pets anymore. And that's how we acquired our animals until we had enough breeding age animals that we didn't need outside animals anymore.
To get a better understanding about the scientific research going on at VILAB and how the apes ended up on the island, we spoke with Preston Marks, who was a virologist working at the Institute.
When I showed up in 87, it was already a big program and established. Something in the neighborhood of 100 chimpanzees were there, maybe more.
Why chimpanzees, just from a virologist perspective? Why is that?
They're the only susceptible species for hepatitis. Yeah, if you'd use monkeys or mice, we would be using them. So it was a very special need. Once a chimpanzee would be hepatitis positive, then obviously you need naive animals that have not been used in experiments. So they started releasing them onto these islands. The reason you can do that is chimpanzees can't swim. Their center of gravity is about here. You know, they got little small butts and small legs, so when they just sink, they can't lay horizontally in the water the way a human being can.
We had, I think, 6 islands in all. One was a large island, which we cut into 3 islands. We dug canals. That was a huge project. It really was huge.
It was around this time that Betsy met her husband, Brian Garnham, who came to work as an engineer at the compound and whom she married in 1986.
I loved my life in Liberia. I liked the animals. I liked the work. I liked the people I worked with. And I thought it would be okay. I don't know. But it's a difficult place.
In 1989, Liberia descended into the absolute chaos of the first of 2 violent civil wars. Rebel groups led by the now infamous warlord Charles Taylor formed a particularly brutal uprising that included child soldiers, cross-dressing cannibals, and wholesale slaughter of innocent civilians. Amidst this madness, Betsy continued both her research and the care of the chimps they had retired to the island.
If they came to shoot a chimp, I'd stand in front of the cage like that.
So Charles Taylor and the rebels were coming. What made you decide to stay?
Well, we had about 100 chimpanzees, and they were in cages, and there were animals on islands. They all had to be fed. And we had a lot of employees, maybe 50, 60. And we thought that if we stayed there, we could keep the place together and that the employees would remain unharmed. Expatriates were running away, Liberians were running away, and when we would go to the islands to feed the chimps, we would see bodies floating in the water, sometimes women with babies tied to their back. And the people were dying, and they were starving to death, and little children. Sometimes I didn't want to go outside because I knew there would be dead children outside because they had starved to death that night.
As the war escalated, Betsy found herself more and more compelled to help the victims of the slaughter.
There was a hotel about 3 miles from our house, and it was filled with 600 women and children, all from this village. And they had killed all the men and all the boys over 12. And eventually I got permission from Charles Taylor, because I heard that their lives, these women, that there was going to be a massacre at the hotel. I went up and I saw Charles Taylor, and I got permission to move them to a larger Ghanaian community that was